No, they wouldn't. But humans are different. They can continue to innovate.
I'm gonna let y'all get back to the half-naked man and half-naked woman y'all really want to look at, but give me 2 seconds, man. I was really trying to figure out like who the demographic, they were targeting, whether it was Gen Alpha or Gen Z, man, because Gundam has a new demographic, who they're trying to reach out to. It's not about millennials and Gen X anymore, it started with Gen X, I want to say, is when Gundam really took off. It's Gen Alpha, Gen Z's turn, and I'm saying it's Gen Alpha, and they're showing them the dangers of war in a new way, and religion has made a comeback. You got people like Sneeko and Andrew Tate, with Islam, and Nick Fuentes with Christianity pushing that, but it's kind of like a white supremacist Christianity. And they're pushing us towards them and just showing them different things, the different aspects. Like you got a cult leader, in this one. I really like this. I don't know if I like this one better. I'm gonna say the first one. I'm gonna edge the first one because of this. I don't feel like that one had like a definitive ending, and it didn't feel complete. It felt like a story. The first one felt like it was complete, even though it was more to come. It still felt like it could have just been a standalone, complete story within the universe. This one, that's the only reason I get the first one. But this one was just as good, man, just as great. I really like the new character, Bianca. I want to say she was my favorite character, and I'm a misogynist, dang near. You know what I mean? I don't really like women like that because they mess everything up usually in movies and TV shows. But to be, serious, she just was a hard ass with my squad. Seems like she doesn't look at sex like the same way as other women. Like, I'm gonna get tattooed. She showed her ass, like it was nothing, so I could remember my squad. That was, great scene. They brought Cornelius back. I think the doctor is not the doctor, not Carla. She's definitely still alive. I think the other guy who was running, I can't remember his name right now. He had a funny name, but I think he's still alive, running around somewhere. We got E.O. Fleming back, and we got my boy back. I feel like he wasn't Lorenz. I feel like he wasn't in it enough. And I know like E.O. is like the main character in this one, but like I wanted more of Lorenz, man. I wanted more Daryl. He's to me a better main character. And Zeon, what did they say? They said Zeon was a Republic in this one now. Like Zeon has changed, which Zeon always changes to so it's still Zeon, but it's changed because the zombie family and all that. Like it's like in real life, whenever regimes change, they change the party of whatever, they're backing to something else because it has to fit the new leaders, ideals. So it's still the same, forces fighting. The more brotherhood is kind of changed as well. Something like is weird. That's what Gundam does. But I really like Fleming better in this one. Even though I like him better, but his character was he was like more childish. You would have thought he would have matured more, and he kind of did towards the end. When he found out that his ex was still alive, Claudia. He did kind of mature a little bit then, but it was weird. It was like he was like even more childish. I don't know, he should have been, him and Cornelius should have matured through the events that they went through, especially even Cornelius. Like, you almost, got hit, what I'm saying, when they did the bombing, where you were, and you had that big speech where you were crying, like, but they seemed to revert. They seemed skinnier, like, they seemed younger. It was weird, but E.O. Fleming was more of the Playboy style, less edgier to me in this one, to where it's like you kind of got him more because, like, he had the drum session with Bianca, and she was on the keys, and it's like he was more grounded. I don't know if I'm articulating or explaining that right. So I kind of liked his character better, but Daryl was still the better character to me. My favorite scene in the movie is when, and it's not just because it was action, it just was a great scene when Daryl figured out how to take out two mobile suits without having any weapons on him, really. And then you had Billy, who's a new character who I liked as well. If he would have had more time, he probably would be my favorite character. But he just was watching in the background because he wanted to see how the hot shot who he looked up to or who everybody else looked up to acted. And Daryl kind of was like, you was watching me the whole time when you could have been helping. But then he came and said, and was like, he was impressed or whatever. That's my favorite scene of the movie. I gotta switch up something too, man. I'm gonna go with the Alice. You know I talked about the 4 that and then the 2 that they were gonna show in this movie, quote unquote season. Atlas, I think, is my favorite. Atlas might have entered my top 10. Atlas is a cold gunner, man. I forgot it was amphibious. It could get in the water and go crazy too. But that was my second favorite scene is that fight. You know, when he went to go save Claudia, she ends up saving him at the end. That was an amazing fight. When he went to go save Bianca, I said Claudia, that's his ex. That was a great scene, man. Animation, everything. But yeah, I think it's, like I said, hopefully it's towards Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha can see this and really look at war and see what it really is, because, we're going through one. It make them hesitant to sign up. And I think they're done with Gen Z. I think Gen Z is just strictly shonen. What's the animated Solo Leveling? That's just like they gonna just give Gen Z that slap. So hopefully Gen Alpha becomes a better generation. I'm already liking them. I see some of my little cousins and stuff. They're better than my Gen Z cousins, man. And it's like they need to keep giving them that, like, because the Witcher, Mercury, and the G-Quicks, that's not gonna work. I want more of this. There's supposed to be a new Gundam manga that they're doing, and then we got Hathaway coming out. So gear all this towards Gen Alpha. I'm gonna try to get all my Gen Alpha cousins to watch all of this. And yeah, man, I loved it. Like I said, I edged the first one better. The music was, I like the music better in this one. The original had, the first one had, this one is called Bandit Flower. December Sky was the first one. December Sky had like old school, like I said, it reminded me of Goodfellas. The second one was like more anime-ish, mixing real music with some anime music, which is real music, but it's like, I like that better. I like the anime music. The themes to me were better. The first one was classic though. December Sky, it was classic, but I like the traditional Japanese songs and all of that better. But it's all good, man. Like, I'm missing out on a lot of stuff. This is not like a full review. It was so many things that happened in Bandit Flower with the cult and everything. And new characters, like the old woman who I can't remember her name right now. Like I said, I think Bianca might have been my favorite character in this movie. She was just a badass. You know, like I said, in this scene when they played jazz together, they did that. She just was cool. Like, usually you get the woman who played a push-pull, will they, won't they? Not only was she cool and she was willing to have sex and she was feeling them, she helped them go look for his ex. She just was down for the cause. You know what I'm saying? She was just down for the cause, man, and I messed with her heavy. You know, yeah, I gotta say Bianca was my favorite character. And her mobile suit was sweet too. It was called the Aqua. It was something the Aqua. She had a cold mobile suit too as well. Like, that's one of the, it's a great one. And then the one she was fighting, I forget what they were called, but they were newer models with the claws. Great. Everything was animated great. The designs were sweet. Usually it's always a mobile suit that I don't like, and everyone's like, why would they make that? And this one I liked all of them, like even the ones Daryl and Billy and all of them used in this one. Like, they look like little tadpole Gundams, like mobile suits. They were kind of sweet. So yeah, man, I messed with it. Like I said, I would say it's geared towards more Gen Alpha, and they need more of these. Anyway, man, Zigzag.